Thanks for being here at the Oracle of the Feather Crown Tree. I'm here to do a weekly love reading for you. I will start off with a pick a card, and then I will go into the rest of the reading, kind of explaining attraction and harmony and really what binds you the most to this person. So this is for anyone seeking a feminine energy in their life. And if you will go ahead and choose a number between 1 and 4, please, then we can begin with the pick a card section of this. So if you chose number 1, you may be dealing with an air sign. This individual may be very interested in their own sense of longevity. They may be interested in this for themselves personally, but also for the collective or even for a relationship. Like they look long term into things and want something that feels everlasting. So that's mainly what they are. It's like foundational for them as far as what they are seeking. I see that this individual is fairly focused as well. You know, like they're not one to have so much of a wandering mind, a playful spirit. They seem to be very direct. They may have a lot of Aries qualities in them. And I also get a sense that they like to be a little bit of a lone wolf, yet if they were to be in a leadership position, that they would enjoy that as well. But they like to definitely be more self-directed. So if you're looking for someone that's very independent and focused, this may be a person for you. They may really enjoy a climate that's more arid, that has a lot of sunshine to it. Maybe it's not as like lush and green year around. So they may live in more of a desert climate anywhere in the world. But because they're kind of drawn to that sunny quality, like they're very much led, they feel comfortable in fire and wanting the warmth of, so like if you're a Leo, like they may feel very secure in what you bring to them. Okay, so if you chose number 2, then you may be dealing with a fire sign. This individual, I feel like there's a fair amount of mother quality to them. They really like to look out for the safety of within their partnerships. They like to collaborate and do what they can to help provide, sometimes maybe more of like the eagle eye view to the situation at hand. They enjoy probably someone that's active and that has a bit of a go-getter spirit that will be protective, probably. This person could be fairly spiritually aligned too, to a certain degree. Like there's kind of a strong earthiness to them as well as this spiritualness. So they may actually be involved in more earth-based spiritual practices like Wicca and paganism or even animism of any type. They may have indigenous roots as part of their background, of any indigenous people. Okay, so if you picked number 3, you may be dealing with a water sign. Now, this person I get right now is probably appearing in a state that they don't normally appear in. They may be a little bit more aggressive and, you know, almost have like this feisty, unwieldy energy about them right now. Almost like they're not even being led by their true self. So there may be a little bit of dissonance with who they really are. And I feel like they're in kind of a transitional state with this. Like, this isn't really how they operate all the time. So if you're actually drawn to them for these qualities, you may want to, before you jump in to a relationship with them, give this a little bit of time, as I feel like they're certainly working through some issues, not really because of their own doing, but for maybe like a higher purpose. And they're having to inhabit a certain energy that isn't considered so natural for them. Their thoughts may be a little bit aggressive and spiky right now, and they may be kind of almost starting things that add fogginess to what's going on, and it's like they want things to be clear, though. And so maybe they're saying, you know, like that's part of what they're on a mission about, is like, I don't want any fogginess. I only want clarity, and I'm willing to fight for that. And it's as if they are like holding on to something. They're holding on to maybe their heart, their true self, until they know that they're standing on fair ground here and that things are going to be okay. They maybe have a history with either you, or, you know, maybe there's a past that you guys have had, or with someone else, or just a long history where they've had to deal with a lot of energy that was not good for love and relationships. And this may be them drawing a line right now and saying, you know, basically what I'm getting here is that they potentially are a very loving, creative, giving, nurturing person, but because of so much past issues going on, they're no longer just, you know, going to give everything freely. So that's what I see there. And if you picked number 4, you may be dealing with a earth sign. So, and by the way, if you are already in a relationship, then take the sign that you're dealing with as your person. For current relationships. Okay, so the earth sign, this person may be, you may see them as very attractive, very ideal, and maybe hard to get. You may feel like a lot of people are after this individual, or that they're just kind of unobtainable. There may be an element about them that you are intrigued by because it's it feels historical. It touches something really deep. You know, or you feel like you could build a history with them, or maybe they have a lot of history. Like they are so appealing because they have lived a full life and have immersed themselves, or come from a cultural background that's really rich and enlivened. This person may have a bit of a fiery edge to them that they don't really have mastery over. So there could be a little bit of this quality of kind of fierceness out of nowhere that may come up. But it's small compared to the rest of the allure. And the rest of the allure really does resonate with me as a true earth sign. Very Virgo energy here that I'm getting off of this. And I do, and even, I'm sorry, not Virgo, Taurus energy. And I do get that they may really enjoy more of a lush setting to be living in. You know, their environment may be a little bit more upkeep than, you know, like higher standards than a lot of people. But I also see there may be something going on in their environment. So this kind of brings up fires for me. I know that we've been having a lot. And so maybe they're an individual that's being affected by some of the environmental disasters that we are experiencing right now. And I know that they're not limited to fires. So I don't know, that just came up, so maybe that will play out as well. Okay, so now I'm going to look at what's really their attraction towards you and what's not. And this, by the way, like why we're drawn to people is usually a lesson that we need to master ourselves. Like they've already mastered it, or through kind of a mirroring, which it doesn't have to be like identical, but it can be like the 180, the opposite. We can see something in ourselves that we haven't recognized before. So what I'm seeing here is that they view you as someone with a lot of inner calm that you have gained through experience. You may be older than this person. They can see you as a very wise person, and that you could probably not be very flexible. Like you'll stand by what you say, and like you're standing in your truth, and you're not one to be flighty. And this again is something that they find attractive about you. So they like this sense of defined selfhood that you seem to possess. I'm also seeing that they find you attractive too, in a physical way, that they're drawn to. You may have that appeal to them, that like you weather well. You're refined, even if you are perhaps older than them. But if you are a younger person in age, they may view you as sort of this older, wise soul, wise for your age. And they see that you have a lot of strength that comes from a certain amount of wisdom. Like you've definitely got this intellectual mastery that then permeates, through your emotions and through your physical being. And they're very much drawn to that. Now, what they may find not as attractive is that you may be very self-reflective. You may be an introvert. You may be someone that likes to deal with a lot of this intellectual thinking on your own. You may be quiet. It may come off as secretive. And you may not be appearing to be desiring someone in your life. You may be very withdrawn in a way, and protecting even your heart space. So they may see that there's like the potential for you to have a lot of love, and that you have that, but that you're just sort of probably waiting to share that with the right person. Like you're very aligned in how you want to direct the energy from your heart space. And they, it may be kind of an intimidation. Like you may appear to have just a lot of self-mastery, and they may not understand really how they can work with that. Like where does the partnership aspect really come in then? Why there's no need for them, basically. So that's what's coming up there. Now, when I'm looking at the harmonious elements of this relationship, I'm getting that there is something going on here that is, at least one of the parties is very highly imaginative and has a lot of talent in this area. It could even extend into writing. And it's the type of thinking that is abnormal. It goes outside of our cultural comfort zones. And it can maybe even edge into creepy, frightening, can unearth things in our subconscious, even the collective subconscious that may be a little bit unnerving. And I feel as if one of the parties, it's really strange. It's almost like it's really hard for me to interpret this one because this should be the harmonizing element. But I feel like it makes one of the other parties feel a little bit ill, like a little off. It makes them feel unhealthy. What could be going on with this other person's way of interpreting reality or inventing realities. And why this is coming up as a harmonizing element. There must be something here that's like strange but true. Like maybe you're attracted, like there's maybe some inner resolve that needs to happen here, that without this partnership, like it just could never happen. So this card is mysterious. What's really going on here is a little bit kooky. I'm not quite sure, but it's like it's got a really beautiful edge to it, but it's unsettling at the same time. So I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, so now in looking at what should be the disharmonizing element, I see that there may be like too much thought going on, to where it gets almost like archaic feeling, like there's all this like structure and a feeling that there's all these rules that have already been laid out by, thinkers that have come before us in your culture. And that, I apologize. It's like a curse to have. I've been waiting all day to do these readings, and of course the moment I try to do this comes out. So there may be a high conflict situation that you're dealing with. Someone may have a substance abuse issue going on. So as I'm hitting this card of disharmony and experiencing that right now being manifest in reality, I'm almost getting like there may be this like overtone of like too much thinking, all this like structured thinking. Someone may be like consulting a lot of different types of thought and trying to put them together, and there's sort of this argument about it. And then, even behind the scenes, and I see this with the cup too, maybe an indulgence in some sort of substance issue that's just creating a disharmonious environment. I hope that's not true, but that's what emerged. Okay, now when I look here at what could be your greatest strength, what's really binding you, I am seeing that you both seem to want to head in the same direction. You want to come together. And it's like you want to achieve something beyond the both of you, a higher idealized way of thinking and perceiving reality is really your greatest strength. And in a way, I feel like the love aspect is playing second fiddle to that. Like there's not a prioritizing of the love, and that if you do work towards this goal of, maybe you're highly invested in sharing a certain philosophy as a couple of something spiritual or intellectual in nature. But I feel like even if you bring this to its height, it will lack an emotional quality that makes it feel barren, although it may have achieved a lot of, magnitude. And I guess I naturally question that, like why we would want to sacrifice that. And I almost feel like the male energy in this has an understanding of the heart, like they're wearing their heart on them. but they're not fully working from it. Like, I just really get that there's a lack of heart connection between the two of you, and that it's just, even if you are able to build this, it's building it in a way that, and this could be, you know, for its benefit, like maybe ultimately, you know, in a long term, you know, there are, you know, these long-term relationships that we can inevitably end up in. And so maybe, you know, long term, there's not that, you know, love and bliss and all that going on in the relationship. There's certainly a solid direction and ground to build on here. And it definitely feels intellectual. It feels very Sagittarius, if you can relate to that. So that's what I have for this week. I thank you for joining me. I hope this was helpful for anyone that has participated in this. And please check out the other reading if you'd like to as well. I'm going to do one for people seeking the masculine. Okay, you guys, take care.